Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the LG Dryer High Limit Thermostat. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new High Limit Thermostat. The High Limit Thermostat is a safety device that regulates the temperature inside the dryer. The main reason you'd be changing it out is if it's shorted out and you're not getting any heat. First thing we have to do in order to get to the part is take off the top of the dryer. We're going to go around back and use our Phillips screwdriver to take the screws out. Now that we have the screws out, we can grab the top panel and pull it back about 1.5 inches. There's 4 tabs that it locks onto. You have to pull it back and then lift it off the tabs. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. With the top out of the way, we can start to take the control panel off. We're going to disconnect all these wire harnesses so we can take this off and set it aside. They all have locking tabs on them. All you have to do is press the release tab and pull them off. Once you have all the wires off, then we can use our Phillips screwdriver to remove the 2 screws that holds the console on. Now that we have the screws out, there's a few locking tabs across the top that you have to kind of lift up on and then pull out on the control panel to take it off the frame. Once you have it released, you can lift it off and set it aside. Now that we have the control panel out of the way, we can disconnect the door switch wiring harness. It's located right in the center of the console. All you have to do is reach in and pull the wiring harness off. Once you have it disconnected, we can open up the dryer door. And we have to remove the 2 screws located down at about 6 o'clock that hold the front panel to the lid screen housing. Once you have the screws out, you can close the dryer door, and then we can remove the 4 screws that hold the top of the panel on. We're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and remove these 4 screws. Once you have the 4 screws out, you can lean the panel forward. There's 2 mounting tabs on the bottom that we have to lift it off. Once you have it off, you can set the front panel aside. With the front panel out of the way, we're going to remove this silver brace that goes across the front. First thing we're going to do is remove the light bulb socket wiring harness. There's a black wire on the front and a gray one on the back. All you have to do is pull it off and get it out of the way. On the back side, we have to remove these wire harness holders. All you have to do is twist these to release them, and then we can take the wire harnesses out. Once you have the wire harnesses removed, we can remove the 4 screws that hold the bracket on. Once you have the screws out, you can lift the panel up. There's a tab on each end that you have to release. And once you have it off, you can set it aside. Before we take the bulkhead off the dryer, we have to disconnect the wire harness that goes to the moisture sensor. All you have to do is reach down and grab it and press on the release and separate it. Once you have it released, we can take the bulkhead off. To get the bulkhead off, we're going to remove these 4 screws. Once you have those out, we can lift the bulkhead off the dryer. To get the bulkhead off, we have to lift these 4 tabs out of the frame and pull it off the dryer. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. Now that we have the bulkhead off, we can take the belt off the pulleys. We're going to reach in and grab the idler pulley with our left hand and pull it towards the left side of the dryer. That's going to put some slack in the belt so we can take it off the pulleys. Now we can take the dryer drum out. We're going to use the belt to lift it up and guide it out of the dryer. Now that we have the drum out of the way, we can reach in and take the wires off the high limit thermostat. Sometimes they're on there pretty tight, so if you have to, you can get a small flathead screwdriver and get in there and pop them off. You want to remember that there was a red one towards the front and the gray one towards the back. Once you have the wires removed, we can reach in with our Phillips screwdriver and take the screws out that hold the high limit thermostat to the burner tube. Once you have the screws out, you can pull the high limit thermostat out of the dryer. If you'll notice, the high limit thermostat is resettable. It has a button right here that if the dryer overheats, this actually kicks off and shuts the dryer down so it doesn't overheat. So you can try to reset it by pressing the button and you'll hear it click, and then you can test it for continuity to make sure that it actually did reset. Sometimes the dryers overheat and these things kick off to protect it, and if this happens, you want to make sure that you find out the cause of the dryer overheating. Usually it's a ventilation issue, so you want to check your dryer vent and make sure it's not clogged, but either way, whether it's venting or some other issue, you don't just want to put it back in without finding the cause of the problem. Here's the old high limit thermostat next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. To put the new high limit thermostat in, we're going to push the tab up into the burner tube, and then we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws to hold it in place. Once you have it tightened down, we can reach in and connect the wires. Remember, the gray one was on the back and the red one was on the front. Make sure you push them all the way on and get a good connection. Now that we have the part installed, we can put the dryer back together. Now we can put the drum back in the dryer. We're going to use the belt to lift it up and guide it back into place. We're going to go through the cutouts and make sure that the rear of the drum sits on the rollers. Once you have it in place, you want to make sure that the belt is lined up on the wear mark where it is supposed to be and that the grooves are against the drum. Now that we have the drum back in place, we're going to reach in again with our left hand and grab the idler pulley and pull it over to the left so we can grab the belt and route it around the pulleys. Now we can put the bulkhead in. We're going to set it down so that the blower seal is lined up with the blower, and then we're going to have to lift it up so that the rollers go underneath the drum, and you may have to lift the drum up so the rollers will go underneath. Once you have the rollers underneath the drum, then we can put the bulkhead in place and lock the tabs into the cabinet. Now that we have the bulkhead mounted, we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to put the 4 screws in. We can reconnect the wire harness for the moisture sensor. All you have to do is grab the other end and plug it in, make sure it locks so you get a good connection. Once you have that connected, then we can go up top and reconnect the light bulb wiring harness. We want to grab the wire connector for the light bulb socket. Remember, the gray wire was on the inside and the black was on the outside. All you have to do is plug it in to get a good connection. Now we can put the support bracket on. Remember, there's a little tab right here that goes into this cutout. So all you have to do is lift it up and lock that in. Once you have both ends in, we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now that we have this support panel back on, we're going to rerun these wires. This is the door switch wiring harness. We want to make sure it goes down behind this little bump right here and run it out to the front so it's ready to plug the door switch into. Once you have the door switch plug in the front of the dryer, we can push the wiring harness into these clips. We want to make sure they lock in there. Next, we can put the front panel on the dryer. You want to carefully lift it up and set it onto the mounting tabs. And then we can lift it up. You don't want to go all the way up. We have to stop and plug in the door switch. It can only go on one way. There's a locking tab. All you have to do is press it in, make sure you get a good connection. Once you have it connected, we can push the panel up the rest of the way and use our Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. Now that we have the front panel secure, we can open up the dryer door and put in the 2 screws that hold the front panel to the lint screen housing. Once you have the screws in, you can close the dryer door. When you're putting the control panel in, there's 4 tabs on the control panel that go into the cutouts on the front panel. So you need to line those up and then rotate the front panel up into position. Once you have the tabs in the front in, we're going to come around back and make sure that the tabs come through the back panel and snap it into place. Once you have it in, we can use our Phillips screwdriver to put the screws in. With the control panel mounted, we're going to reconnect all the wire harnesses to the control board. They're all color coded, so we're just going to start over here on this side and work our way over. All you have to do is press them in. They all have locking tabs on, so make sure they lock in. Once you have all the wire harnesses hooked up, we can put the top back on the dryer. To put the top of the dryer back on, there's 4 of these locking tabs, 1 in each corner. You have to make sure that when you set the top down, it's in this wide part, and then you push it back and lock it into here. Once you have it locked in, you can put the screws in. Now that we have the top locked back down, we can put the screws in to hold it in place. Now that we have the dryer put back together, you can plug it back in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.